in the old days when they first started out with the comeback group, like there was no agenda, there was humility. Now there's, pride, and there's all these things. Now, you know what it is? It's a show made up by Carlos King called Love and Marriage Huntsville. That's what's in the way, because now you guys are reality stars. Okay, now you guys are well known. So, not to say that the show has changed, but the show has changed you. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brenda Yvonne channel. Of course, it's your girl Brenda Yvonne. Here on my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. This video, we are talking Owns Love and Marriage Huntsville, y'all. This is season 6, episode 10, titled Unpaid and Full. Before we get into anything, y'all, don't hesitate to click that thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel, y'all. Let's continue to grow these channels. Shout out to my girl, Shayna McD, for making her 700 subscribers. Voodoo Doll has hit her 1,000, so hopefully I'm next, all right? So help your girl out over here. Anyway, comment down below. Are y'all still watching Love and Marriage Huntsville? Because I know a lot of people are abandoning the show, and we can see why. I'm trying to stick in there because I still like the show. It does feel like we're coming to the end of the road, though. It's time to wrap it up. I'm interested to see what Love and Marriage Detroit will be giving. What DC is going to give when they come back. I like DC, so I'm looking forward to DC coming back. And we got Ready to Love coming back in July. Yeah, July. Anyway, y'all, let's get into this Love and Marriage Huntsville. Also, share this video where y'all like to share y'all videos. If you're a College Hill Celebrity Edition fan, check out those videos as well. All right, y'all. Side note, if my camera or my lighting looks different, it's because my light went out in my ceiling and I'm waiting for maintenance to come fix it. Thought they would do it yesterday. I moved my table and everything. They didn't come. It's fine. But actually, I'm not mad at it. Y'all probably can't even tell the difference. It probably look the same to y'all. But I ain't mad at how it looked, though. Anywho, let's get into this episode, though. So, the episode actually started off where they left off from last week with Tiffany. She was feeling dizzy. She was seeing stars. She was going through it. Lewis was bent down talking to her. They turned off the lights because she wanted the lights off. He telling Stormy, give me some water, give me some water. Stormy was like, when situations happen, she going to action mode. She went and got the nurse Kimmy, because y'all know Kimmy's first job was a nurse. So I'm not sure. I don't think she's still nursing, if I believe. Anyway, so she went and got Kimmy. She got the water. She told Kimmy what's going on. So Kimmy came over there and she's like, what's going on? And she's like, how's your pressure been? How's your sugars been? And she was just telling her, she just sees stars every time she opened her eyes. She said, fortunately she's in Maurice's car, so she don't have her bag with her because, all the nurses carry around their first aid bag. And so I know, like, the nurses in my classroom, anytime there's a situation on campus, they take their bag with them. So I know Kimmy was like, dang it, if she didn't have that bag in Maurice's car, she better put her spare bag in Maurice's car for next time, but hopefully, no more incidents, right? But Kimmy did go over there and do her best she could do without her tools. And she said, I would love to take your blood pressure, but I just don't have my stuff with me. It's in my own car and we're in Maurice's car. And so she was like, but you need to call 911 and get checked out because then they could at least take your blood pressure. She was like, I would do it for you. She's like, well, at the least you could do is lay down on your left side. And so Tiffany said, ask her grandpa to see if he got his blood pressure stuff with him. I'm like, why would he have his blood pressure? I don't know. Anyway, they went and got him. I don't know if he had his stuff or not. Then a bunch of other people came over there. Kimmy trying to tell her, we need to call 911. We need to get you to the hospital. We need to get, at least they could have got the paramedics over there, and the paramedics could check her blood pressure and her vitals and tell her what to do. But she didn't have to ride in the ambulance with them. Just for y'all to know who don't know, some of y'all probably already know, you can call the ambulance and not go anywhere with them. You do not have to take the ambulance ride. I know a lot of people don't like calling the ambulance because it's a bill if you ride in the ambulance and all that. You can just get checked out and not accept the ride. My sister had to do that a couple times when she had some bad allergic reactions to shellfish. Like, you don't have to ride an ambulance if it's not something serious, So anyway, I think they could have got the paramedics to at least do a blood pressure check for sure. But anyway, Tiffany was not trying to call the paramedics, I guess. I don't know what was going on. Heck of people came over there. I was like, what is going on? So I'm like, first of all, y'all crowd this lady and she's dizzy, she's struggling. So, in Kimmy's confession, she said, I don't really understand, like, what is the issue? Tiffany's having to call 911. Like, she is pregnant. That is considered a medical emergency, which it is. So, Kimmy's like, I don't know, like looking at Tiffany in her face, like, girl, I don't understand. Like, what is it? Like, when can I call 911? So then, I think Stormy ended up calling. I don't think she had reception in there. And so then Lewis was like, you know what? I'm finna just stay at the hospital. So Lewis picked her up. Lewis was a big old strong man, ain't he, y'all? Lewis picked her up and put her in the truck, and they rushed off to the hospital. Okay. Anyway, the next scene, we do pray Tiffany is okay. We know, you know, present time, she had her baby, she was fine. We're gonna get to Tiffany not listening to the doctor later on in the episode. So anywho, y'all, we get to Marsau is doing this groundbreaking thing with Gino, right? So I guess this is one of the first properties him and Gino are doing together, and so that's why they're having a groundbreaking thing. Because when I first watched the episode last night, I was like, what is this? What is this new ground? Where's Scott Manor? What's going on? But this is property that him and Gino are doing together, and so he's like, this just really celebrates everything he's been working for, everything he wants to do, and they continue to do more projects like this, and then he can focus on closing the deals, and Gino can focus on the projects in the field, and blah, blah, blah. Tisha came out there in her cute pink dress. She looked cute. Tisha, and them heels was cute, but it was not appropriate for that dirt. She was, I should have worn my boots out here. Maurice came, I guess, to show his brotherly support. Gino's daughter came, and somebody else who worked there came. So anyway, they took pictures. They told Maurice to go on and be the picture because he's going to be their lawyer. I'm sure he tied in the business some kind of way. So, you know, he said, Marsau said, you know, this moment for Scout means a lot to him. Tisha said that her and Gino are good now. When she first met Gino, she was mad at him because he took her office, but Marsau let him have it, girl. Okay? So don't be mad at Gino, be mad at your husband. So anywho, but you know, Gino's like, well, your husband gonna build, you know, he can come with these plans for your office. And so Marsau trying to tell Maurice, like, oh, Tisha, the reason why her office ain't done, she ain't making decisions. I call BS, but anywho, we do see after they take their pictures and everything, we do see Maurice and Marsau and Tisha talking about the whole Blaque Expo, as Tisha calls it, event coming up. And so Marsau was saying, like, you know, this whole thing with Skull and him and Gino working together, like, they hit it off so quick and easy, and it just reminds him of the days when him and Martell working together at school, and like, you know, they're able to put, you know, pride aside and all these things aside, and they're able to actually get things done. And he said he feels like that's the issues with the comeback group, that he wished the comeback group could really come back together and do their thing, but pride and everything is in the way. And so Maurice is like, you know, he agrees, like, he feels like, you know, everything would be good, but now there's so many, like, in the old days when they first started out with the comeback group, like, there was no agenda, there was humility. Now there's, you know, pride, and there's all these things. Now, you know what it is? It's a show made up by Carlos King called Love of Marriage Huntsville. That's what's in the way, because now you guys are reality stars. Okay, now you guys are well known. So, not to say that the show has changed, but the show has changed you. Okay, whether you like it or not, the show has changed you. Your fans have changed you. You've been blown into this world of celebrity has changed you. So, yeah, yesterday's price is definitely not today's price for the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast, and we would expect that. But I think it would be good for them to get back to the community, and we're going to get to that later. So anyway, we'll see, you know, how it goes. Okay, so next scene, we have Mel. One thing I want to say is I noticed production does a very, very good job. Every time they do a Mel working on business or whatever Mel's doing or got going on, they show a Martell scene right after that. Never fails. Every episode of this season and probably all the previous seasons since they split up. They always show a Mel scene and a Martell scene right after. Always, always, always. So anyway, Mel's meeting with her lawyer, Caleb. She said Caleb has been with her, working with her with this lawyer, with the divorce, and now he is working with her with the whole custody battle. So he's been there every step of the way. So she's going down there today because she wants to legally change her name. She's already been going by Melody Cherie, but she wants to go back to her maiden name, which is Rogers. Didn't know that. He was like, Rogers with a D, right? And she was like, yes. So anyway, she said that, in her business endeavors, everything else, she's already stopped, using Holt, and she wants to remove Holt from everything. She says she has gained success already with her Rogers name up until 22, and she want to continue to do that. You know what? I have no problem with Mel changing her name. What do y'all think? Do you think it's a good idea for her to change her name? I feel two things about it. Like, if she didn't change her name and stuck with Melody Holt, I feel like that's fine too, because that's how we know her. That's how we were introduced to her. That still has a ring to it. Melody Cherie sounds great. Melody Rogers is fine too. And if she wants to reclaim her name, that's right. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, okay? Some people like to keep their name. Like Tina Turner, she said you can't take away her name. You take away all the money, all the fashions, all the cars, and the jewelry, but you can't take her name. Melody says she reclaiming her name, okay? Anyway, you know, it just depends. And change your name is a long process. So some women like to do it, some women don't. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about the name change, though. Anyway, so she was like, you know, is there going to be any issue with me changing my name? So he's like, shouldn't be no problem with that. You know, no one should be contesting that. No issue. The only issue is going to be that to change your name legally, you can't be involved in any kind of court case, rulings, or proceedings in, you know, the state, the country, the U.S., the worldwide. And so when he was saying, she was like, and he was like, the only thing, and she was like, wait, what? So you know, he broke that news to her, right? And so she was like, man, Martell was controlling me when I had his name, and now he's still controlling me when I'm trying to change his name. Man, ain't that so messed up? Ain't that so messed up? I was like, yeah, girl, that's messed up. So anyway, once the court thing is done, then she can change her name. So she said that, you know, I know you've had to deal with Martell, send him different documents. You know, she can't believe all the things that happened in the court proceedings. I guess his side, Martell's side, was asking for a lot of unnecessary documents that they had to shut down. Like, they asked for bank records, which Mel said she can understand that because you got to prove you can support the kids. But they also asked for social media passwords. They also asked for telephone records and who she's been seeing since the divorce. To me, all that is nonsense. Sounds like Martell BS to me. I don't get it. I agree with Mel. Like, why are you asking for all that? Like, none of that is relevant in custody of the kids. None of it makes no sense. And so Mel was like, yeah, you had to shut down all that. Like, she just can't believe the stuff Martell's asking for. I can't either. That's ridiculous. And I hope this custody thing is over. I don't know what's happening in real time with all that, because I don't keep up with them people like that. Anyway, I did see that Mel posted of some kind of event thing about, and she did get to change her name. So that's good. Anyway, then we see Martell. Martell's meeting up with Miguel Wilson, and I'm assuming the lady was his business partner. I didn't catch her name. They came down to Huntsville to see him, looks like. So he's trying to get into the suit business, you know. Say what you want about Martell, but he could wear a suit, okay? He could wear a suit. So, and that is his thing, wearing his suit. So Miguel, he's real famous in Atlanta, and I guess U.S. maybe? I don't know. He's known for his, he got into making suits, I should say, through bridal, making tuxes for grooms for weddings. So he said, you know, a lot of times women have someone to choose from, but men don't. They rent in tuxes, whatever. So that's how he got into the game. They showed a clip for how he came in on a horse for his wedding. And so he has stores, I guess. I don't know if it's just Atlanta or nationwide. And so Martell wants to start his own suit collection. They're asking him, like, okay, do you like the small lapel, wide lapel, all that? He don't like the big lapels. The man suggested, Miguel, that he gets into doing the double-breasted suits because that's not, that's a lane that's not really tackled right now. And so I guess he wants to expand his business to other Black entrepreneurs and designers. So he's going to let Martell like have a collection in his store, or a line or something. And so he told him to do the double-breasted suits with the gold buttons, and he showed him like a kind of mock-up of it. It looked really nice. I liked it personally. And so Martell feels like, you know, he's really, Miguel is really kind of daring and bold, and and he's the same way. And so they would be a perfect collaboration together. Okay. So also the man Miguel, he said he normally doesn't do this, but he extended Martell an invite to the Black and White tie affair they're having in DC, I guess at their DC store or something on the harbor. And so I guess it's going to be a fashion show, and Martell's line will be featured in that fashion show. So this guy really wants to work with Martell in these suits. So that's going to be really cool. He said it's going to cost him $100,000, but he don't need it all right now. He's going to give him the payment schedule and whatnot. Somebody on Twitter said Martell's face looked like he was going to come up with that money. I kind of felt like he's not going to come up with the money either, but maybe he will. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, y'all. Maybe he'll come up with it. Maybe he could do, you know, like $5,000 a week payment plan or something. I don't know. Anyway. Work it out, Martell. Get you a business loan. Talk to Maurice and them. Get this together. Because we want to see you make this suit line because that is your signature thing. You got to do a suit line. You don't drink wine, so you really didn't have no business getting in the wine business. But I'll taste Inez. I have no problem tasting it. Whoever Martell's people is, if y'all watch this video, send me a bottle of Inez wine, okay? And I definitely would review it for y'all because I do like to drink me some wine. But we know Martell ain't a drinker. That's all I'm saying. But I'll review it and taste it for him. No problem. Anyway, shout out to Martell. So, yeah, Martell doing the suit thing. Hopefully it worked out for him. So, then we get to Lewis and Tiffany, right? Tiffany. So, Tiffany's sitting in bed working with her feet up. Lewis come in there and say, "Are you resting?" She's like, "I'm always resting." Like, she just got a nasty attitude, y'all. She got a nasty attitude to me. So he bring her some water and some food, I think. And he was like, "Oh, you know, I know the doctor said you need to hydrate." She's like, "Actually, I'm really thirsty." And so she, you know, Lewis said it's really scary taking her to the hospital. The doctor told her she needed rest. Like everybody been telling her, she needed to hydrate more. She needed to eat more. And so he's like, you know, "What are you working on?" And so she says she's doing this presentation that's for her last work trip. And so I guess somewhere in, I think in DC, they asked her to speak about diversity in clinical research because, you know, that's part of what her company does. So anyway, he's like, "So you taking this trip? Like, do you not know why you're on this bed rest? Like, do you remember what the doctor said? Like, what are you doing?" So she was like, "It's just one trip. It's a really quick trip for the weekend. They asked me to speak." And he was like, so then Lewis gives a breakdown and cry. I said, "Y'all, she done made Lewis cry, y'all. That ain't right." So anyway, Lewis is like, "Man, it was really scary taking you to the hospital. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what I was going to lose you. And you start grabbing on your right arm, talking like you was losing feeling in your arm. Like, that was the scariest moment ever. And then, like, for you to say now you're doing work and stuff, like I can't take that. I can't go through that again. Like, you know, you need to listen to your body. You need to take care of your health. Like, you really need to do that." And so she was like, "Oh, I know I need to do better. I need to drink more. I need to eat more." I'm like, "Girl, what you doing? Like, Tiffany, do you know you pregnant? Because you acting like you don't know you pregnant. And I wonder, why did you get pregnant? Like, if you was going to do all this, why did you get pregnant? For a storyline, like they say?" So anyway, she did apologize for putting him through that and putting the baby through that and putting them all through that. She said she gonna do this last work thing and that's gonna be it. He was like, "Really?" And he was like, "You know, sometimes God try to give you a wake-up call and he might do something worse next time to get your attention." Very true, but we pray everything works out, but she needs to listen to her body. She needs to sit down. And why is you not eating and drinking? Like, I had this baffling in my mind. So anyway, she began to talk about what happened outside of the party when Lewis talked to Martell. And so he said he did understand the fact that Martell was upset about the line of questions to Sheree and Sheree being uncomfortable. Like, he understood that. He didn't understand why Marcel was in the mix. And Marcel was like, "Well, I was just there because it was at Blaque. It was at his business," in the words of Tasha Matt. Okay, so Marcel was there. He was helping Martell study for this test. He probably ain't gonna pass again. That's why he got to sell this one in these suits. So anyway, Lewis feels like, you know, Marcel just always want to be in the mix. He Betty Crocker. He always want to be in the mix. I said, "You wasn't talking like that outside, Lewis." I'm just saying. So he just wanted Marcel to stay out of it. And so then he did tell Tiffany, "But you got to watch what you saying because you so passionate about what you saying and rub people the wrong way." And so he's like, "The thing is, they don't know you that well, so you need to not." No, don't. We've known Tiffany long enough to know we don't like what comes out of her mouth. She's been on the show for 2 or 3 years now. It's not the fact that we don't know her. It's that she's just inappropriate, don't have boundaries, and don't think. Like, she's just rubbing people the wrong way on purpose. It ain't got nothing to do with knowing her. Everybody said they knew her from the Chambers of Commerce the first season she was on the show. Remember that? Anyway, Tiffany said, "Yeah, I do got to work on, like, my delivery and all that, and the way I'm saying things, the way I'm coming across. And she was like, my thing is, I really did want to get to know Sheree though. And, I've wanted to offer my expertise and experience to Martell and Mel about the whole co-parenting thing and blending families, because I really could tell them about that. And so he was like, well, has Mel asked you about that? She's like, no. Girl, they don't care. Obviously, you see they got a mess co-parenting. And girl, if you could help them, they would have been got your help. But you ain't going to help Martell and Mel get this mess together, so stop. So Lewis, like, that's the thing. Like, they have to be receptive to the help and want your help. But, like, at the end of the day, they not asking you for it, then you don't need to be giving it. Thank you, Lewis. Tell your wife. If Martell and Mel are not asking Tiffany for help on co-parenting and blending families and all that good stuff, then Tiffany, you don't need to be helping nobody. And speaking on it, what does that have to do with talking to Sheree? Because if you truly cared about Mel and Martell blending families and they co-parenting, then you would talk to them together or talk to them separately. What the hell does that have to do with you asking Sheree inappropriate questions? Nothing at all. So Lewis is like, next time just, don't be getting into people's stuff. And so causing problems. And so she was like, so then she was like, well, why are you coming at me? Because when your friends came at me about a conversation I had with somebody else. And he was like, yeah, because I'm going to have to answer to it. That's why, like, that's the reason. And so she was like, yeah, but that has, nothing to do with them. Like, they should mind their business. Like, I'm not trying to be in their business. All that. He's like, that's my point. Exactly. Like, stay out the business. Like, Tiffany ain't this dumb. Tiffany's not that dumb. She playing in our face. So anyway, after this scene, we get down to the scene about the Blaque Expo. Okay. So, first arrived was Kimmy and Mel. And so Kimmy came with her documents ready because she said last meeting she was caught off guard. This meeting she wanted to be prepared, okay? Kimmy came with this letter, I guess, that Marsau had wrote back in the day with the comeback group saying why he should be the president of the group. Marsau, you tried it, but that's, Kimmy said she put it, sealed it up to keep it safe. So Mel was like, how you think he feel now? He probably still want to be, the president of the group. So Mel was like, what are you feeling about the event? Like, how are you going to support it? Are you going to speak? Like, what you going to do, girl? You going to do a booth? What you going to do? And so Kimmy was like, I haven't really decided yet because I still want to see how things are going to shake out, because is this comeback group event, or is this a Tisha and Marsau thing? Is it a Blaque event? Like, she's trying to figure out the ins and the odds before she figure out what she want to do. Like, she want to help and support, but she needs to get all the logistics together. I don't blame her, because for her, it really feels like just a comeback group initiative, because this was one of the things. This Blaque Expo is basically one of the things the comeback group was about anyway, which I get it. We're going to get there. So that's what Kimmy's thing is. And so it's just kind of repackaged. And so Mel says, well, I think, when it comes to the word the comeback group anyway, like, people are trying to stay away from that. They want to steer away from that, like the comeback group thing. And so Kimmy was like, well, actually, Mel, that's just you that want to stay away from the comeback group thing. Let's just be real, call a thing a thing. That's just you. And she was like, when we had that last meeting and, people told me they wanted to dissolve the group, that was mainly you. Everybody else still wanted to do it. She's like, I'm still paying taxes on it. I still run it to the accountant every year. Everybody else still wants to do it. So she's like, my thing is, if we're still paying for it, then we need to be using it or decide not to use it. Now, I didn't know until this episode that they were still paying for the comeback group to use the name or whatever, maybe it's the LLC, whatever taxes and documents they had to keep up for, that they still were maintaining. And Kimmy was doing it all this time. Yeah, y'all better do something as a comeback group. I don't blame Kimmy. Yeah, Mel, you can decide to leave, but they need to do something as a comeback group because y'all just wasting it. That's crazy to me. This episode didn't give a lot, but it did give us a lot of insight and information. So that's one thing I did like about it. So anyway, So then they shifted the gears of the conversation. Well, they was like, well, why is we the only ones here? And she's like, because we the only ones here. And so Kimmy said, Tisha and Marsau are notorious for being late in the same meeting, and she feels it's disrespectful. The reason why they're late is because production told Kimmy and Mel to come early so they can have this conversation until the rest come at a different time. That's why they late. So we know how this reality TV thing works. There's no more mystery. There's nothing new happening. So anyway, they shift gears. Kimmy says she got 6 weeks of radiation coming up and then she'll be done. She wants to take a trip. She was like, where should I go? Mel was like, out of the country. So Kim was like, where have you been? She was like, out of the country. And so she was like, okay, so what you doing? Who'd you go with? What you talking about? She was like, what? So she's like, come on, Mel, you know what I'm asking. Come on, girl. She's like, I don't know what you're asking. What are you saying? She's like, I saw you in Mexico eating crab legs. I saw arms. I saw legs. Somebody holding you look like a man's arm. So they showed a picture from Mel's vacation. It doesn't look like a man's wrist and watch arm holding Mel. Probably was. And so Mel's just not ready to divulge all that. She said she got too many other things going on to be talking about who she dating and not dating. I don't blame her, especially the way Martell is. And if he asking about all that stuff for the custody case, I do not blame her. Once all that is over, then maybe she could start sharing more of her love life. But I don't blame her because she's dealing with a monster in the courtroom. And I shouldn't call Martell a monster. I should say she's dealing with a difficult person in the courtroom. Let me change that around. So anyway, because I don't believe he's a monster. I think they both have misguided agendas and energies, and he especially more than her, in my opinion. So anyway, they began to talk about traveling out the country, and so I think Mel said they should go to St. Mark's or something like that, or St. Martin, St. Thomas, one of them places. So Kimmy was like, you didn't move on in the conversation. I'm still talking about this. And so she was like, I'm just not really to talk about, everything and share everything. I'm not going to be sharing everything. Kimmy was like, you don't have to share everything. Like, I'm not expecting that. It's all good. So then everybody else came in because now it was stay call time, right? So they came in and sat down. So Tisha was like, so at the last meeting, we talked about everything going on, and I sent an email out about what everyone wanted to do for the Blaque Expo, and nobody emailed me back, which is fine. So just to let you know, moving forward. And so then Kim was like, oh, we didn't email you back. Kim was like, well, I thought you were going to email us and let us know what's going on. She was like, no, I emailed you guys, and then she tried to pull the email. She's like, it really don't matter. Like, we can discuss it now. And somebody was like, we ain't trying to play the blame game. Like, let's just move forward. Okay, so Tisha was like, as far, everyone was discussing payment and sponsorship and all that good stuff. As far as that goes, when it comes to the 6 people at this table, none of you will be getting paid. Like, the people at this table, you will not be getting paid. Mel, in her confession, says she finds it funny that Tisha and Marsau don't want to pay them, but they're basically willing to pay someone else. Because the way she said it, it's like, we'll pay somebody else, but we ain't paying y'all 6 at this table, is the way she said it. Which is, we gonna get to that. So anyway, she began to say, we need to do this pro bono as a gift to the community because we wouldn't be as successful as we was and have the businesses as we do if it wasn't for, successful as we are. I don't know where my English went, y'all. And how the businesses we have, it wasn't for the community. The community shows up and supports us, whether it's with Blaque, whether it's with Mel's products and events, whether it's Martell's Inez wine, whether it's the companies Maurice and Kimmy have, like the community, that community shows up to everything we do, so we need to get back to them. I agree. So that's why she's like, we don't need to be paying nobody. So Martell is like, what? Like, you gonna just say like, nah, pay nobody? Like, he doesn't agree with that. He shares in his confessional, like, someone like Mel, she's a public speaker. Public speakers get paid, like she deserves to get paid. So he didn't like how they came in there with all that. I was like, oh, now you defended Mel. So then he said, well, what about, Mel? She says she wants to get paid. Like, don't you feel like she should get paid, like, to speak and all that? And so she's like, well, Tisha said, I emailed to give people's riders information. Nobody emailed me back. And so Marcel's thing is, look, this is what we want to do. Like, we want to, we'll get sponsorship to pay for everything or whatever, but we want to, not pay for everything. They want to get sponsorship. They plan to pay for it the event out their pocket is what it sounded like they said. And correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because maybe we all interpreted it different ways. But the way I took it the second time I watched it is that they're going to pay, and I'm going off of what Kimmy said, and she communicates clearly. They're going to pay for everything themselves and get sponsorship. And then that sponsorship money can go on to support other events. So then Marsau was like, so what we're going to do is any sponsorship money we get, we're going to support your event. So if you want to have a coat drive or feed the homeless, whatever, we will pour back into you and whatever you have going on. And so Mel is like, that sounds all good, but like, since when are y'all supporting everyone's events? Like when track record has shown that you guys have not supported events. Like I've had Mail and Mimosas for the last 3 to 4 years, and that has not been supported. She was like, also last meeting, I came up with the idea of sponsorship, and now that idea is being taken and done like this. Let me back up to one important conversation that Kimmy had brought up. So after Tisha, gave out her spiel about how the community supports everything they do, and that's why they need to do it for free and all that good stuff, Kimmy said in this dissertation, now I think Kimmy was being a little shady. Did y'all think that? So Kimmy was like, in this dissertation Tisha just gave, she said that, because Tisha said the comeback group been together since 2018. And so she said we've been together since 2018. She said, were we ever called the Blaque Expo? They said no. She said we've been together since 2018, but I know she meant 2016 because we've been together way longer than 2018. And so she said, she was just highlighting basically everything Tisha said and saying that this sounds like a comeback group thing, like you're repackaging it and making it like it's a comeback group thing. Okay, so back to where we were with Mel going off, saying nobody was supporting her. The sponsorship thing was her idea. Then you say you're not going to pay people when I'm the one that came with the idea of sponsorship in the first place. So Tisha was like, well, we have tried to support your events. She was like, I tried to come to your skincare thing and I got escorted out. Y'all, they played that clip from the time when Mel escorted Tisha out that skincare event. That is one of my favorite scenes. Now, granted, it was wrong for Mel to escort Tisha at that event, but the way Mel said, security, yes, are you able to escort people out this event? Yes, okay, well, come over here, let me show you who I want you to escort out. And then that white man went over there and said, yeah, you need to leave. That was hilarious, but it was wrong. So they played the flashback, right? That's when Mel and Martell were still together. That's when they was on their last leg possible. I believe that was right after she had Sugar Mama. So anyway, so Belle's like, so when did you support? And so she's like, no, I'm not talking about attending events. I'm talking about sponsoring and supporting events. And so, Marsau was like, no, we talking moving forward, Mel, like not in the past. And so Mel said, it's too fresh for me. It's too fresh for me. Thank you, Mel. Now, one thing, I like the way Mel spoke up in this episode, okay? I'm with you when you're right. Mel's correct. It's too fresh. All this stuff they trying to do, get to come back together, it's too fresh because y'all was just fussing and fighting. It's too fresh. It makes no sense. It's not going to work. I'm sorry it's not going to work. I hope it can work for the purpose of supporting the community and having a Blaque Expo, but I don't see it, okay? So then they get to fussing and arguing and fighting, right? And so Maurice is like, let me be clear on where I stand. I agree that we should do it for free as well. And he was like, however, he said, this is our idea. This is our idea. Kimmy reiterated, like, this is one of the initiatives of the comeback group. Like, you could repackage it a different name and everything like that. This is an idea of the comeback group. And Maurice is like, I agree with Kimmy. And so Marcel was like, no, I think Maurice is confused. Maurice is like, no, I'm not. This is the comeback group's idea. And so Tisha was like, we are not taking any money from the event. We are going to host the event, pay for everything, and then use whatever sponsorship to give back. Timmy is like, she ain't buying it. So Marcel said that he feels that anyone at this table who wants to get paid from the event is just greed. And so Letitia's like, okay, well, like, she kind of like, well, hold up. And so then they really got up in the arms into the arguing. And so Mel was like, you can't decide that that's a greed for me. You can't decide how I do my philanthropy and all that. So I agree. I agree with both sides, actually. I see the point of both sides. I don't think it's necessarily greed if they want to get paid. I do think they should do the event for free. However, it's their prerogative. If they decide they want to be paid to do it and they're not going to do it unless they are paid, that's their prerogative. Then no one else can tell them what to do. If they feel like they deserve to get paid for speaking, that's their time. Nothing in this world is free. Now, do I think they should all do it for free because the community has clearly given so much to them, as we can see from the show? Yes, I do believe they all should do it for free because they are all big, well-known in that community in their own right, and they're too big of stars in their community to be charging for an event, because then I think the community would kind of be looking at them a little funny. So I think they should do it for free. However, I don't think that makes them greedy to want to be compensated. I could totally see both sides. I think they do need to get back to the community. I agree with Mel though. It's too soon. They've had too much bad blood throughout the show from other things for them to be able to come back and do this. I don't see it working, but we gonna see how it goes. So anyway, Kimmy said in the confessional that this is a Blaque event, Blaque with a QU, not a CK. And it's about business at the bottom line. She's like, these are business people. So she's like, she don't believe that they are willing to lose money on this event. She don't believe that they're going to put all their money into it, and any money they get from sponsors, they're not going to take to recoup their losses, that they're going to give it back to others. She doesn't believe that. I agree, Kimmy. I do not believe that with Marsau and Tisha. No way am I saying that Marsau and Tisha are shady business people or anything like that. I just think that at the end of the day, business is business and bullshit is bullshit, right? Like my grandma used to say. And yeah, you're not going to take a loss. You're not going to take a loss. Yeah, you want to support the community as well, but if you had to pay $10,000 for food vendors for this event, I'm just speaking in hypotheticals, if you get some sponsorship money, you're gonna try to recoup that back. Like, that's just natural what somebody would do. You're not gonna take the loss. So, and I think that's what Kimmy is saying. Like, we can't believe you in the fact that you're gonna take the loss. So I think it pretty much ended with them arguing, and Maurice basically saying this is our original idea from the comeback group anyway. And so it said to be continued. We're going to see where it ends. So they're going to have the Blaque Expo. We're going to see it. Next week, look like Stormy family is fussing and fighting. Look like they from the other side of the tracks. Anyway, y'all, don't forget to hesitate to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Love y'all, and thank all of y'all for y'all support. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.